We did a day trip to Guantanamo Bay to see how the immigrant population is being treated there. I think to me one of the biggest things that I saw was that there's no operational reason for using Guantanamo Bay for immigrant detention. That, it's really expensive. They told me it cost about $16 million already. And at the time I was there, they told us that there were only 41 immigrants that they were holding. And at max right now, they can have 225. So we saw service members guarding empty tents that aren't usable.
Joining us now is Democratic Representative Sara Jacobs of California. She's a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Africa. She's also a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congresswoman Jacobs, it sounds like both those committees had jurisdiction over what you were doing down there at Guantanamo. And so let me just begin with, are you surprised by the breaking news report of the night, the breaking news headline in the New York Times saying that ICE returns all migrants from Guantanamo to stateside facilities?
I'll be honest, I am not surprised. It was clear to me when I was there that there is no actual reason to hold immigrants in Guantanamo Bay. It was done solely because Donald Trump liked the optics of being able to say that he sent immigrants to Guantanamo Bay with its history of human rights abuses and everything that means. It was clear that there was no actual workable plan to get to 30,000 beds, which is what he talked about. And it was so expensive and used so much of our military for such low capacity. To me, there was no reason for the cost or the cruelty of it.
And when you were there any representatives of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency down there trying to decide how efficient that particular operation was or whether they should be firing anybody there?
Not to my knowledge, no.
That's kind of what I thought. That was a joke question, of course. And so tell us what you did see, what you were able to determine. Were you allowed to speak to any of the people being held there?
So we weren't able to speak to any of the migrants, but we did see the living conditions of the high-threat migrants who were in Camp 6, one of the facilities that had previously been used for detainees from the War on Terror. We saw the conditions they were living in. We were able to see some of the, access they had to phones and other things like that. We weren't able to see where the lower threat migrants were being held, but we did see the tents that DOD set up to the cost of about $3.1 million that had no ability to be used because they did not meet DHS standards. And you had service members literally guarding these empty tents that couldn't be used. So it was a very eye-opening experience, and we were able to see where some of the higher threat migrants were being held.
Did anyone document for you how it was determined that any one of these people was so-called high threat?
What they told us is that they were only accepting immigrants who had final deportation orders that had already gone through the legal process. And the higher threat migrants were folks who had been convicted of a felony or a serious misdemeanor. Now, we weren't able to talk to the migrants, so I wasn't able to corroborate any of that, but that's how they told us they were separating folks out.
Yeah, and it was all just words. There was no documentation for any of those statements, right?
Not to my knowledge.
Right. And so going forward, this pace that was supposed to be mass deportation, whatever it is not mass. We have not reached a threshold of what we'd call mass deportation. And in fact, the Trump deportation schedule that we're on as of now is lower than some previous presidents. What are you expecting next? Did you pick up anything about their giving up on Guantanamo? That's over. What's their next move?
Look, I represent San Diego, a border community, and so we see firsthand everything that happens on the border, no matter who the president is. And deportations are not new. They are something that has happened under every president. What is new is trying to use the military to do these deportations, trying to use military facilities to do this. They told us that they are trying to get to 100,000 beds for immigrant detention across the country. That would necessitate using military facilities, which is very dangerous for our military readiness. But they clearly did not have any real plan for any of this, and it's all been very haphazardly put together.